You just watched the biggest football match on earth. Maybe it's your first. Here's the thing, nobody explains to a new fan. Every one of those 22 players was doing a completely different job. There are 8 positions on a football pitch, and each one is its own sport. Different body, different brain, different way of winning you the game. Here are all 8, what each player is actually trying to do, who does it best, and which position quietly decides more matches than any other. Start with the only player allowed to use his hands. For most of football's history, that was the whole job. Stop the ball, stay on your line, let the other 10 play. That keeper doesn't exist anymore. The modern goalkeeper does 2 jobs, and the second one has changed his position more in 20 years than any other on this list. Job 1 is the obvious one, shot stopping. But here's what new fans get wrong. At the top level, shot stopping is not what separates keepers. Every elite goalkeeper saves what he is supposed to save. That's the entry fee, not the edge. Job 2 is where games are actually decided. If your team defends high up the pitch, somebody has to guard the space behind the defense. And the only player facing the right way is the keeper. So he sweeps. He defends 18 yards off his own line. And when his team has the ball, he becomes the deepest passing option on the field. A keeper who can pass under pressure is worth an extra midfielder. Manuel Neuer proved that in 2014. Unai Simon and Emiliano Martinez both started this final as the first line of build-up, not just as shot stoppers. Verdict, 6 out of 10. A great keeper is a floor, not a ceiling. He loses you more games than he wins you. The elite ones save you about a goal a game. One error erases a month of saves. 2 players in the middle of the defense. The job description sounds simple. Mark the striker, win the header, hold the line. The best defending you will ever see is the defending you don't notice. That's the first thing to understand. A tackle is a last resort. It means you are already beaten. The great centre-backs barely tackle because they are already standing where the ball was going to go. Positioning over pace, reading the game instead of reacting to it. The physical side hasn't gone anywhere. At set pieces, winning your duel is still non-negotiable. But the modern centre-back has a third job that didn't used to exist. He starts the attack. A defender who can carry the ball forward and break the first line with a pass diffuses a press before it happens. That's why ball-playing defenders now cost more than pure stoppers. Baresi and Maldini at Milan set the positioning template every academy still teaches. In this final, Pau Kubasi and Christian Romero gave you both modern answers, the ball-playing stepper and the front foot duel winner. Verdict, 7 out of 10. A mistake here is a goal. A mistake almost anywhere else is only a chance. The fullbacks start in the back 4 on the outside, and they have, without much argument, the most physically punishing job on the pitch, up and down one touchline for 90 minutes. The defensive base comes first. Deny the cross and never get isolated one against a winger with grass in front of him. But almost nobody signs a fullback for that anymore. Modern fullbacks create as many chances as some wingers do. And this is where the position gets interesting, because every coach now faces a fork. Option 1, the fullback overlaps. He runs outside his own winger, hugs the touchline and stretches the pitch. Option 2, he inverts. He steps inside into central midfield, hands the touchline to the winger, and gives his team an extra body in the middle to control the game. Same player, 2 completely different teams, depending which one you pick. Cafu and Roberto Carlos made fullback an attacking position in the first place. In this final, Pedro Porro holding width and Nicolas Tagliafico tucking in. Verdict, 7 out of 10. The most tactically influential defensive position on the pitch. It's where numbers get created. The fitness demand is what caps it late in games. This is the one. The number 6. The pivot. The player who sits in front of the defense and holds the whole thing together. And the position you only notice when it isn't there. His zone is the gap between midfield and the centre-backs. That's the space every good attack wants to play into, and his job is to make it unavailable. Not by chasing, by standing in it. While everyone else moves, he holds. That positional discipline is the entire skill. There are two schools. The destroyer wins the ball back. He presses, he tackles, he ends attacks by force. The deep-lying playmaker ends them by geometry. He takes the pass, turns, and sets the tempo of the game. The very best do both. Sergio Busquets barely tackled anyone and controlled a decade of football by standing in the right place. In this final, you had Rodri against Enzo Fernandez. The positional controller and the progressive passer, same zone, two philosophies. Verdict, 9 out of 10. This is the position that quietly decides the most matches. Teams miss a 6 more than they miss anyone else. Take him out and the entire structure leaks. And if the 6 is the position that controls a game, penalties are the moment none of it matters. That's the first episode of this series, cards above. The number 8 is the engine, box to box. The player who supports the defense, drives the attack, and covers ground nobody else on the pitch is covering. Box to box gets said a lot without being explained. So here it is literally, arriving in both penalty areas in the same passage of play. He's defending a corner at one end, and 60 seconds later he's arriving late at the other. Nobody else does that. This is the hardest position in football to scout, and the reason is simple. The impact is cumulative, not a highlight. There's no single clip that shows you a great 8. You have to watch him for 90 minutes and notice that his team never seems to be outnumbered anywhere. The one thing that does show up, the late run into the box. Defenders track the striker and lose the midfielder arriving behind him. Gerrard and Lampard scored 20 a season doing exactly that, and teams now coach it deliberately. Verdict, 7 out of 10. He wins you games in volume rather than in moments, which is precisely why elite engines stay undervalued. The number 10 is the creator. He plays between the opponent's midfield and their defense, in the pocket. He receives the ball on the half-turn, and he produces the final pass. This is the classic playmaker. And modern football very nearly killed it. Here's why. When pressing took over, that pocket stopped being free space. Teams wanted a player there who would work, chase, and press, not a player who wanted a second on the ball. For about a decade, the pure 10 disappeared from the biggest teams entirely. It came back in disguise, sometimes as a wide creator who drifts inside into the same pocket, sometimes as an 8 given license to go and play there. Different shirt number, identical job. And the defining skill never changed. Receive under pressure with a defender on your back and still see the pass. Zidane's half-turn in traffic is the template. In this final, Dani Olmo played it as the nominal 10, and Lionel Messi played it from a forward position, drifting in. Which is the joke of this whole video. The same player who redefined the inverted winger and then redefined the false 9 spent this final playing the 10. Verdict, 6 out of 10. Game-breaking when it's on, invisible against a compact block. A luxury the best teams can afford and average teams can't protect. The winger is the wide attacker, and his job is the purest 1-against-1 in the sport. Beat your fullback, then cross it, cut inside and shoot, or drag defenders across and free somebody else. Isolation is the entire point. Get your winger the ball with one defender in front of him and grass to run at. That is the highest value 1-against-1 in football, and good teams build whole systems just to manufacture it. There are two kinds. The traditional winger is on his natural side, right-footed on the right, so he goes outside and crosses. The inverted winger is on the opposite side, left-footed on the right, so he cuts inside onto his stronger foot and shoots. Messi and Robben made that undefendable even though every single defender knew it was coming. And an elite winger warps the whole defense. The fullback can't step up to help, so space opens somewhere else entirely. In this final, Lamine Yamal started wide and took that duel on all night. And Nico Williams attacked the same 1-against-1 from the opposite flank. Verdict, 8 out of 10. The most direct match winner in the final third, one moment settles a knockout game. Volatile though, against a disciplined fullback, a winger can vanish for 90 minutes. And the number 9 is the one who gets paid to score. Lead the line, occupy the centre-backs, finish what the other 7 positions spent the whole match creating. It is the only position on this list where the end product is the entire job. Nobody remembers a striker's build-up play. But the part most fans miss isn't the finishing, it's the movement. A striker earns his goals with the runs that never get the ball. The run that drags a centre-back 3 yards out of position so somebody else can use the space. 10 of those, and one of them gets a pass, which is where the false 9 comes from. Instead of running in behind, he drops into midfield. If the centre-back follows him, there's now a hole in the defence. If the centre-back doesn't follow, he's free between the lines. You cannot defend both. Ronaldo, the Brazilian one, was the complete 9. Messi's false 9 under Guardiola was the anti-9 that broke defences by leaving the position empty. In this final, Julian Alvarez running the channels, Mikel Oyarzabal as the classic centre-forward. Verdict, 8 out of 10. The most valued position in the transfer market, and rightly so. Chances are hard to create and harder to finish. It loses a point only because the best modern attacks manufacture goals from every position, not just the 9. 8 positions. 8 completely different sports played on the same pitch at the same time. Watch the final back and you'll see it now. The keeper starting attacks, the 6 holding everything together, the winger waiting for one moment. You didn't just watch a match, now you can read it. So tell me, which position did you never fully understand before this? And which one do you think actually decides the most games? And now that you know the players, the rest of this series is how coaches use them. Start anywhere.